Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Lorraine McGlynn. I'm a clinical psychologist and holotropic breathwork facilitator, and I'm making this workshop today to invite you to our holotropic breathwork and nature immersion. The workshops will be held May 18th to the 21st at Menlo Mountain House in Dewa Spa in Phoenicia, New York. This is a double breathwork session, so there'll be 4 holotropic breathwork sessions, 2 as a breather and 2 as a sitter. We'll also have our evening sharing circles, our mandala drawing, our community time. And since it's a nature-based workshop, I'm also going to be integrating several nature-based practices into the workshop. It's a very sunny day here in Pennsylvania, so I'm going to put my sunglasses on so there's not a lot of glare and I can see while I'm making this video. So the nature-based practices I'm going to be integrating are a forest meditation outdoors. We'll be doing forest bathing, which is essentially going outside and connecting with the land and connecting with nature. Also, we're going to be having a practice called creating art altars in nature. So there'll be time during the workshop for you to go outside and go foraging and collecting material from nature to build I guess it's basically a nature mandala. So you'll create an art altar outdoors in nature the last morning of the workshop. We'll also be having a woodland fire ceremony and healing ritual on Tuesday evening. We'll be having a sound bath. I'll be doing an introductory talk on the theory and practice of holotropic breathwork, which covers things like a little bit about the history of Stan Grof, who was the originator of this work, talking about the evolution and the process of how holotropic breathwork has evolved over the years to what it is today, the different components of a holotropic breathwork session, the role of the sitter and the breather, the concept of the inner healer, the range of possible experiences in a holotropic breathwork session, working with trauma, and the safety and support that's inherent in this work. Over the years, I've actually found that safety and support is probably the most important component of this work, so that people have permission and feel comfortable kind of going into whatever their experience is on the mat, knowing that they'll be fully supported. The only exceptions or guidelines that we really give people is that they can't hurt themselves, the facilitators, or the property. Other than that, we really encourage them to just do the work that would work with whatever's emerging during their holotropic breathwork session. The facilitators have been really well trained by Grof transpersonal training, so I really feel like we have the potential to really support people fully in their process. Let's see what else. So holotropic breathwork, for those of you who are new, is a practice where you breathe deeper and faster and basically enter an expanded state of consciousness. And that experience is guided by what we call your inner healer. Your inner healer is your own innate healing wisdom or intelligence. That basically the material that emerges in your session is what is seeking healing from within you. So it's a self-guided practice. The facilitators are trained to be there to support you and keep you safe, but this work is very non-directive and permission-giving, so we aren't telling people what they need to do to heal. We're trusting their own inner guidance, and we're supporting what's emerging during their sessions to its fullest expression, and encouraging them to allow what's arising to come to be experienced in its fullest expression. One of the components of holotropic breathwork is this concept of amplification of the symptoms. So I think as human beings, we're actually kind of programmed, or intuitively, when something is uncomfortable or painful, I think we just naturally kind of either disconnect from it or push it away or distract ourselves from it in some way. But in this work, we're actually really encouraging people to go deeper into the experience. You know, I remember I was trained by Stan Grof. I remember him saying in one of the training modules that the fullest expression of any symptom is his funeral pyre, meaning if you can fully express whatever's emerging, it gives it an opportunity to discharge and heal or begin to heal. So that's another concept of this work. It's a very comprehensive foundation to this work that's been researched over the years. And what I like about this is, even though Stan Grof was a psychiatrist and a scientist, he never really told people what to do. He more observed the process in people and supported it. and really notice some themes in people's experiences. So that's why I talk a lot about possible range of experiences in holotropic breathwork. And even having said that, the answer to the question about what's possible in a holotropic breathwork session is basically anything. But we do see themes like biographical information from your life, or transpersonal things, or somatic things in the body. Maybe sometimes strong emotions or sense images will come up for people. Sometimes past trauma, sometimes archetypal material. So there are some themes that come up, but again, I'll talk a lot more about that in the introductory talk. So I really do provide a pretty comprehensive foundation for those of you who are new to the work that are coming into the workshop. A lot of new people sometimes get concerned or feel anxious, and that's perfectly normal. As a matter of fact, what we often hear is people say they start going into a process when they sign up for the workshop, and I think the psyche kind of knows when you're signing up for the workshop. And I also trust that that part of the person, that inner healer, that whatever's going to emerge from their session is never going to be more than they can handle or be harmful to them. I think the psyche does protect you in a lot of ways. And again, the facilitators will be there to support whatever is coming up in your session. This work is done in dyads also, so there is a breather and a sitter. So you will have a sitter next to you during your session, as well as the facilitators walking around the floor. And the sitter is really there to be kind of a sacred witness for you, and also to support you if you need tissues or some water or some help, going to walk into the bathroom, because sometimes people can be kind of wobbly getting up off the mat when they're breathing. So this workshop, again, is May, 18th to the 21st. I love Menla Mountain House and Dewa Spa. It's a absolutely beautiful sanctuary back in the woods in the Catskill Mountains. I've been there many, many times over the past 15 years. Initially, I went there for the Grof transpersonal training workshops or modules. And so there's a lot of really positive energy on the land and in the space where we have the holotropic breathwork workshops. We're in the yoga studio, which is a beautiful, big yoga building, all glass windows all around the building. And we're in the middle of the woods surrounded by the trees and the forest. So I think the property and the land, and certainly the staff there at Menla, is really supportive of our workshops and of holotropic breathwork work in general. There is a full service spa there, so I know we have a very busy schedule because we start usually at 8 in the morning and we go to 10 o'clock at night. So I really like to inform people that this is an immersive and intensive experience, but I also think that's helpful when people come and do this kind of deep work, to have the time and the space and the support of both the facilitators and the community and the container, to have multiple days to be together to kind of process and integrate this work. So it's intentionally immersive in nature so that we can be as supportive as possible to you and help you feel as connected and held by the community as possible. Having said that, there is a full service spa that's amazing there with lots of services. So if you can find some time, during a meal, if you want to head over there and experience that. There's also an outdoor pool. It might be a little bit too cold for that in May, but maybe. There is a brand new exercise space. There's a really several 100-year-old barn community gathering space that people go to and hang out. The food is all farm to table, mostly organic. They have a actual organic garden on property, and they get a lot of their food from there for the meals. So the food's really clean and healthy. I think the rooms are really nice for a retreat center too, and there's a pretty wide variety of accommodations you can choose from camping all the way up to really swanky deluxe queen rooms. So there's a pretty big variety in terms of price and accommodations. And the last thing I'll say is, a couple of years ago, what I decided to do was offer a scholarship program. So what I did was kind of donate proceeds from some of my holotropic breathwork workshop into the scholarship fund, and I make 2 scholarships available every workshop for people who have financial hardship. And in addition to that, since our world is a little bit chaotic and challenging right now, I've also kind of decided moving forward that I would, if I can, offer some financial support to people who are having hardship at this time that want to experience this work. And also, starting this workshop, I've also started to kind of figure out how to develop a payment plan for people over time that just don't have, a large sum of money to put down on a workshop, but really want to attend, because, the workshops can be costly. It's just the workshop retreat centers prices are getting higher, like everything else in this world. So I try to make it as affordable as possible, but there's a reality that it can be costly for people. So I think payment plans may be helpful also. So I'm really just trying to make this work as kind of accessible and inclusive as possible for people who really want to explore the healing potential of holotropic breath work. And I feel very deeply committed to this work, and I really trust this process. So if this is something you think you might be interested in exploring, you're welcome to email me at drmcglynn6@gmail.com. So it's drmcglynn6@gmail.com. I also have a website, which is my name, which is www.drlorrainmcglynn.com. There's a lot of information about holotropic breathwork on there. All of the workshops for this year and next year are listed on there. Our holotropic breathwork team, which I think now there's maybe 14 of us. It's been growing over the years, which I'm really grateful for. So I'm going to be working with a lot of new facilitators over the next year or so, which I'm really excited about. But all of their pictures and bios are on my website if you're curious about our holotropic breathwork facilitation and apprentice team. So feel free to contact me if you're interested. Again, May 18th to the 21st at Medlin Mountain House in Phoenicia, New York, which is sort of near Woodstock, pretty close to Woodstock and the Catskills. And hope you can join us. And if not, you take good care.